I could be wrong. It happens like twice a week. I could be wrong, Lonzo, but I think context clues have led me to believe that Jimbo Fisher might be a little upset.
No.
Context clues.
No. I didn't see any of those. Maybe I struggle with reading context clues.
Shot through the heart and Knicks to blame, trying to give the Aggies a bad name.
Okay, you're talking about two old men, so quoting an old man, I guess, is it goes well with it.
Bro, Nick Saban's like 12 years older than John Bon Jovi, for the record.
How about Jimbo?
I don't think Jimbo's quite that ballpark. I know Jimbo ain't young. Jimbo, I just typed in Jimbo age, and apparently there's like some Irish rock star named Jimbo. Jimbo Fisher's only 56.
How old is Bon Jovi?
60. I only know that because I looked it up when his show was in town. I don't just happen to have a great extensive knowledge of John Bon Jovi trivia ready to go in the back pocket.
You were just curious about the AARP presence at the concert and whether, that you're going to have trouble parking because they're going to move so slow getting in and out of the garage.
That's not incorrect. That's not incorrect.
Get out of my way.
Yeah.
I'm going to see Bon Jovi. Slippery when wet.
I was surprised they didn't start that show earlier so John could get out and hit the early bird special on the way home at Cracker Barrel. It's not even a joke. Cracker Barrel's delicious.
Don't sleep on the early bird. I mean, you in, you out.
No, you go to the early bird so that you can sleep. That's the point. Jimbo Fisher yesterday, and look, if you have not heard his press conference, quote unquote, yet, if you have not heard what Jimbo had to say yesterday by now, respectfully, that's on you for being a bad fan, okay? Respectfully, that's on you for being a bad fan because it was amazing. Now, can I get to the heart of what I took away from it yesterday? Now, if you were listening to the show yesterday, as Lonzo was not, if you were listening to the show yesterday,
don't act like it was by choice, okay? I would have rather have been here, all right?
Jimbo's presser hit while I was on the air. Now, I did not carry it live, though I was very tempted to, and in retrospect, I wish I would have. But, it's kind of hard for let me phrase that. It's easy for us to carry live sound when Lonzo is here because he knows how to use the dump button and get us out if anything bad happens. I don't. So I didn't want to carry it live. So I carried it about 10 minutes after it happened. And I have to tell you, and I am not kidding, you can go back and watch the stream for verification purposes from yesterday's show. So there were about 3 different occasions during Jimbo's press conference that I had to back off the mic to take a breath because I was laughing so damn hard. And so have you seen it in its entirety yet?
I have not. I've seen bits and pieces. Well, hey, I apologize. Okay?
No, it's okay. You're just making me think I'm going to have to go ahead and play it again.
Well, the thing is, listening to whiny old men, I could just, that's what it is. It's whiny old men. And yes, I've heard the highlights. I've definitely heard the highlights.
So
I prefer the prime route. I think his answer was better than Jimbo's answer.
Let me say this. You know that I take particular joy in aiming the barrel at whiny ass boomers and what was the generation before them? Boomers and whatever's older than boomers.
Well, so I just made Gen X. So Jimbo's close. Jimbo is very close to being Gen X.
Is Gen X is post-boomer?
Yes.
What generation is what are the years of boomer? What is baby boomer? Between 1946 and 64. They're currently between 57 and 75. Ooh.
So Jimbo's a Gen Xer.
Jimbo just slid under the bar.
Yeah.
You know I like taking pot shots at whiny ass entitled boomers. I don't think there's a more entitled group than the baby boomers.
So
I said what I said.
Pretty soon, unfortunately, a lot of those people will have moved on. So you can't say, okay, Gen Xer. It just doesn't have the same sound to it as okay boomer.
No,
does.
it really doesn't. And for the record, okay boomer is dumb. Do you know why the young people say okay boomer? Because of how mad it makes the boomers, right? You ever had that kid in school you made up a bad nickname for and it got really, really under their skin? What happens?
Yeah, I was usually that guy.
Yeah. Now that is your nickname.
I just cried a lot. So, I mean,
And then chunk desk at people.
There are other ways of getting revenge, Rob.
Anyway, I like taking shots at entitled boomers, of which there's a lot. That was part of where I was going yesterday when I said, do you know who the largest complainers about NIL are? Entitled people. People who feel like their job is set. They should not have to adapt. They should not have to learn something new. They should not have to try new things to adapt to an ever-changing climate.
Hey, man, don't come up with new stuff until I'm not around anymore.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, when I'm gone, you do your new thing. But for now, we're good.
Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Nick Saban's not mad because kids are getting paid. Nick Saban doesn't give a gosh darn. Remember, it was Nick Saban last year after his quarterback, who had not played a single game yet, received an NIL deal for, what was it, like $700,000? And for the record, let me say this. I think Jimbo Fisher overreacted. Hilariously, but overreacted. Okay? I think Jimbo
wait.
Fisher...
That's so out of character for him because he's always calm and even keeled.
level-headed.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. Very level-headed guy. I think Jimbo Fisher overreacted. I think if you go back and you listen to the comments of Nick Saban that kicked this whole thing off, what you are going to find is that Nick Saban never actually accused Texas A&M of cheating or violating any rules, right? That was Jimbo's whole thing. When Jimbo came out hot, he said, it's despicable. It's despicable that I got to come out here and defend 17-year-old kids and their families from entitled old guys who didn't get their way, and that leads them to wanting to, to complain that they were breaking laws. For the record, this is the biggest reason that I think that Jimbo Fisher overreacted a little bit. Nick Saban never actually said you cheated or violated state or federal laws or anything like that. He never said that. All Nick Saban says was, you bought your players. Whether that did or did not happen is subjective. I don't think they bought anybody. I think Texas A&M's fans who are in a cult, I think Texas A&M's fans organized the best NIL organizational effort so far. I think they did a phenomenal job of organizing, of getting together, of going, how do we put together businesses and offers and money and contracts that are going to best make high-level recruits want to come here. And I think they did it as good, if not better, than anybody else. But Saban never said you cheated. Saban never said you broke any rules. Saban never said you did anything wrong. All he said was you bought your players. There are folks like, I'm going to assume here, correct me if I'm wrong, Lonzo, who aren't offended by that statement. Believes it may even be a little bit true. There's a lot of NIL money on the table in Aggieville. And Jimbo knew that. Jimbo went off the rocker yesterday. And I got to tell you, as hilarious as it was, Trey said it was better trash talk than any current wrestling promos. Like, genuinely, it felt like Jimbo's speech yesterday was going to lead to a contract signing to Fisher versus Saban at Hell in a Cell next weekend. Which, don't get me wrong, sign me up for.
All right, so if you are the organizer, and I'm sure people have said this before, but since I wasn't here, for SEC Media Days, do you make them follow each other?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Follow each other. They're in the same room for as many things as I can. They're paired up at the annual golf tournament. They're sitting at the same table at the banquet every night. Their press conferences are literally one after the next. Everything I can pair them up for, they're getting paired up for.
Well, they've already
Photo
been
day.
They've
They're
already
getting their
been
photos together.
reprimanded by the SEC. I heard earlier, so I bet they hug it out.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Jimbo, one of the guys said, "Have you talked to Nick Saban yet?" And Jimbo said, "He tried to call me." No. The guy said, "So you didn't take that call?" And he said, "No, not going to. We're done." End quote. Amazing.
So an adult male, an older adult male, made a mistake. Yes, a public mistake, and or believes that things were
which
taken
one?
the wrong. I'm talking about Nick Saban.
Okay.
Believes that things were taken the wrong way, so he does the adult thing and decides to call and try to air it out, apologize, whatever. And then the other adult male, I'm just not going to take his call.
Oh, for the record, Jimbo's the immature one in this situation.
Yeah. Okay.
For the
All right.
record.
All right. I just,
Yeah, let me make my position abundantly clear, as I just realized I may not have done that yet unintentionally. Jimbo Fisher, while the hilarious one, Jimbo Fisher is the immature one here. All right? Jimbo Fisher is the immature one. Nick Saban said they bought their players. And don't get me wrong, that doesn't make what Nick Saban said okay. I think all Nick Saban was saying was, hey, they found a way to get a lot of NIL money on the table, and that made a lot of kids want to go there, which is probably true.
it would appear to be accurate.
Yeah. It is probably true. I got no issue with it. Then Jimbo was just like all up in his feels. I mean, all up in his feels about it, right? And then Jimbo decided, you know what the best way to respond to Nick Saban's 19-second sound clip is? 13 and a half minutes of me going bananas at a press conference. Now, I have two positions on this, Lonzo. Number one, holy crap, was that hilarious. Yes, I found it funny. It was immature, but funny. I found it funny the same way I occasionally say the word fart on the radio because I know it makes Lonzo uncomfortable. Is it immature? Yes, very. We all know it. Is it funny? Yes, very funny. Of course. That's the way I found Jimbo Fisher's press conference funny. Is it funny? Yes. Was it immature? Was it unnecessary? Was it over the top? Yes.
So if you're part of the PR guys for Texas A&M, whoever it has to be to organize a press conference, do you not try to talk him down, or are you the entire time going,
There was
I can't believe he said that to you, coach. You definitely have to get up there and you've got to give him what for.
Jimbo Fisher was in Tallahassee when I worked down in Destin, and I covered the Noles very closely because I was an hour and 45 minutes away from him, right? I covered, when I was in Florida, I had a similar setup with Florida State as I do with Clemson, South Carolina, right? Florida State was an hour and 45 away. Florida was a little further away, but they were still obviously the big other school there. When Jimbo worked in Tallahassee, and this is the other part that was so damn funny to me about him with his comments about Nick Saban being God and the czar and, well, you work for guys like Bobby Bowden to learn what to do, and you work for other guys to learn what not to do. You understand? You understand? Jimbo Fisher's the same cat, man. He's the same dude. He runs his program the same way. You know why you know why Jimbo Fisher left Florida State? I know why. It doesn't get a lot of play, but I know why. Jimbo Fisher left Florida State because Jimbo Fisher went to the athletic director and the president of the university and said, you need to put every dollar that comes into the athletic department into the football program. Okay? You need to put every dollar that comes into Tallahassee, Florida, into the football program. The AD and the president said, no, we want to be good. We want to be a well-rounded athletic school. So Florida State started putting money into their basketball program, which I would argue paid off. They started putting money into their Olympic and amateur sports, which has paid off. They've racked up national championships. They got softball championships. They got men's and women's track and field national championships. They got, I believe, a swimming and diving championship in the past few years. It paid off for the overall athletics of the school, if not the football program. But Jimbo, after his title in 2013, said to the program, give me every dollar. And they said, no, we're spreading the love, man. We're spreading the love. And so Jimbo, towards the end of his last year in Tallahassee, just stopped working. Just stopped recruiting. Stopped game planning. He basically showed up on Saturdays, coached his team to another L, and then hit the bricks the minute A&M called him. Now, the reason I'm bringing that up isn't necessarily because I'm mad at Jimbo Fisher. I am a little bit because he cost me a lot of money when he did that. When I was in Destin and I had an FSU remote every week, and then all of a sudden I didn't because suddenly FSU sucked because Jimbo lit the tires on fire before he left the car burning on the side of the interstate to head to A&M. Just a little bit of bitterness here. Cost me a ton of money when he did that. Don't try to tell me, and this is the part that really kind of, what's Mark Ryan say, gets my grits about Jimbo Fisher. Don't tell me about doing it the right way when I know for a fact the way you left Tallahassee was not the right way. For the record, even though I think that Nick Saban has a dumb complaint, I am squarely in Nick Saban's camp on this. He did not accuse Jimbo Fisher of breaking any rules. He did not accuse Jimbo Fisher of cheating. He did not accuse Texas A&M players of taking money from anywhere that was improper. He just said they bought their recruiting class. And to some degree, with what appears to be more NIL money than anybody else in the game, that's correct. Jimbo didn't have to like it, but it's great. Nick didn't accuse you of cheating. He didn't accuse you of lying. He didn't accuse you of stealing. He just accused you of buying your recruiting class, which is fine. Because you kind of did. And that's coming from a pro NIL guy. You kind of did. And then Jimbo gets all up in his own feels and decides he needs to come out and do this press conference, which, again, let me be clear, it was hilarious. I may play it at 10 o'clock so Lonzo can hear it in its entirety because it's French kiss amazing. But he was wrong. Nobody accused you of breaking laws. Nobody tarnished the kids. Nobody threw them under the bus. You know, there's an old adage, Lonzo. And it comes from many years ago. And it's based in philosophy. And it's always intrigued me because I think it shows phenomenal insight into the inner workings of the human mind. And that philosophy, Lonzo, that acknowledgement about life is, and I have to paraphrase it because I don't know that I have it down exactly. It has been written and passed down from generation to generation, which is why it's so powerful. That expression, Lonzo, is whoever denied it supplied it. He who denies the situation the loudest, I'm kind of interested in that guy for the situation, right? The fact that Jimbo didn't just come out and go, all right, thanks for coming to the press conference, y'all. I just like to say we did not break any rules. We have some of the greatest fans and alumni in all of college football. Those fans and those alumni, they organize themselves under what is acceptable by the new rules. They organize themselves into a phenomenal group that made Texas A&M even more attractive than it already was, right? We got one of the loudest football stadiums in America. We got one of the loudest and most passionate fan bases in America. We got one of the greatest educations you can receive in America. And on top of all that, high school football players, we also got one of the best NIL programs in America. So when you're trying to think of where you want to go to football, just remember, you can get all the resources you'll get at Alabama and Georgia and LSU and all these other big traditional schools. But Texas A&M's got NIL money. Have a nice day. And leave. You didn't need to acknowledge anything past that. Because, again, the NCAA left the NIL rules up to the states. So Texas has its own set of NIL rules for Texas A&M to follow. Texas A&M, according to Jimbo Fisher, and trust me, people are going to comb this now, didn't break any rules based on what Texas's NIL rules are. So all he had to come out and do and go, seems to me like Nick Saban knows where the next threat's coming from. Have a good day, everybody. And walk out. Jimbo overreacted. He went too far. He provided me with a solid hour of comedy yesterday, but he overreacted. He acted like an absolute, I don't even know what the word is, clown, I guess.
Well, let's hope today when I have to leave the show that you get something else breaking like that can just carry you through to
Oh, my God, the show was so easy yesterday, Lonzo. Because here's the thing. You have days when news breaks. And there'll be a news story. So-and-so is injured. Turns out so-and-so broke his foot in the game last week, so he's unavailable this week. CMC pulled a hammy. He's out for the next 6 weeks for the Panthers. And that story, Lonzo, it gives you 30 minutes, 45 minutes of content. Jimbo Fisher yesterday. Jimbo gave me a solid hour and a half. Jimbo gave me a solid hour and a half yesterday.
So according to
amazing.
I'm seeing headlines like Jimbo Fisher's full takedown of Nick Saban. So the internet seems to think that Jimbo won yesterday.
Here's
from
why.
what
You know
I'm
what?
seeing.
Let me take a break. I'll tell you why they think that on the other side. Because it wasn't just about Jimbo defending himself, right? It'd be one thing if Jimbo just came out and said, hey, look, we didn't cheat. We had a really, really good group of fans and alumni and boosters that put together a good NIL program, and our kids took advantage of it. But he didn't stop there. He did decide that he needed to go in on Nick. I'll explain that when we come back. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. This is the Rob Brown Show on the Fan Upstate. Hendricks texted me, Jimbo is a putz. How was his take?
think the real question is this a work or is it a shoot?
Oh, Jimbo was a shoot yesterday.
I don't know.
100%.
I don't know. Suddenly the attention is back on college football. Forget all these other sports.
Yeah, but Jimbo Fisher didn't need the attention back on college football. He's fine. He got the #1 recruiting class. He got an extension. My dude is set.
We've already explored, like, what if Texas A&M wins it all? What if they don't win anything? With all that money spent.
Oh, for the record, I hope they don't. I will find it hilarious if they don't win anything.
So what does that do if you are a football player looking for employment? Because no matter what Rob says, you're being employed by the NIL. And you look and see, well, there's a lot of money over there, but I'm not going to win if I go there. So I can get this money, but the chances of me going to the NFL are slimmer because they're getting less attention because they can't win.
You told me the other day that the NFL is going to show up wherever the players are, regardless.
This could be a Tyreek Hill situation. I'm going to take the money now because I'm uncertain if I can go to the next level.
I mean, listen, if you're an NFL caliber player, like the kid who went to Deion Sanders' school, you're going to get found. The NFL is very, very good at identifying, gathering, and recruiting talent or drafting talent.
They're also very good at finding busts.
Correct.
But this is unfair. This is the kind of thing that needs to happen like right before the season. I mean, it makes it much more interesting.
We're going to be talking about this. Like Alabama, Texas A&M is now must-see TV, right?
I think there's going to be some major apologies. It'll calm down. It won't be as fun
If they do,
anymore.
it's because the SEC office came out and made it happen. They're like, guys, we can't have this. Which, yes, we can. Yes, we can. This is exactly what college football needs, my guys.
This is all scripted and contrived by sports media because we knew we were going into the season where people lose interest in sports. So it's all fake. None of it's real.
Respect that take.
If you like this stuff, you must be a professional wrestling fan. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, Tayshawn, I got him. Lonzo, Tayshawn made us.
I saw.
So he sent them to me. I'll give them to you after the show.
It's a tricky thing. Permissions, all that kind of stuff. And they also, they got to be good. I'm not saying, you know.
They're good.
Are
I'll
they?
listen to them.
Well, that's you said they're good. So, I mean, you know.
Damn, okay. Okay.
It ain't like you're a musician or something. What do you know?
Tayshawn, they good. They're good, my guy. I love them. I absolutely love them. We will find out what on our end. He sent them over with full permissions, like full rights to them.
All right, but this also, it requires permissions and things.
Yeah, but we gotta go up through the ladder.
Things have to be explored. I can't just do it.
I get it. I mean, he could.
No, I could just do it. No, you're right. I could, but now we've just discussed it, so now I can't.
Now you can't.
No, I can't just do it. Because as we know, someone is listening because you just got a text. Now he's probably just listening on air and not on stream, but you never know.
Said conspiracy theorist.
There's this thing called legal. It's a department that we
Yeah,
have.
we've got there's a bunch of eggheads and ties up in Baltimore.
Or we assume that could be artificial intelligence as far as I'm concerned.
true.
Because I've never actually seen them, but things have to be run by them. I'm a very by-the-book person. Unless by-the-book person. Unless there's like a punchline in it, then I might take a shot at it. Helps to fill out the room a little bit first before you do that. If there's a lot of angry looks in the hallway, probably not a good move. It's fun hearing DA this morning. They're talking about something. It's like, we got to run up the ladder. And one guy's like, I've met people I didn't know existed in this company. And it's so weird because it's this company that they're talking about. Yeah. So that's, yeah.
Tell you what I'm not going to do is a full 3 hours on Jimbo v. Nick. However, I'll tell you what I am going to do, which is at least one more segment on it.
I was going to say, I bet you'll get that later, but that's fine.
Correct.
I'm sure Jim Rome is going to do that.
And this was sports radio yesterday, right?
I know, it was everywhere. That's why I'm saying that even though I didn't hear it in its entirety, I heard it everywhere.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it wasn't all the one shot that you got, but I heard enough to know what's going on.
This was sports radio yesterday. This was it. And it wasn't like this was sports radio if you were bored or you didn't do your prep work. My show prep sheet was filled out yesterday. All right? And then we found the Nick Saban commentary. And that kind of led the whole thing off. Now, my take on Saban remains, hey, look, Saban is mad because Saban has been in control of the game for a very long time. And now, under the new landscape of college football, he's got work to do. Now, Lonzo, as I said yesterday, the reason that I think that Nick Saban's going to be just fine is Nick Saban has complained about a lot of things over the years. He complained about the no-huddle offense in college football starting to take off. He complained about new styles of defense starting to be played. And every time that Nick Saban complained and said, is this what we want college football to be? The fans, Lonzo, said, yes, it is, Nick. Get over it, you old coot. And then what did Nick Saban do? He got over it, and he implemented it, and then he kicked everybody's ass with it. That's what Nick Saban does. And I got news for you. If you think that Nick Saban complaining about Texas A&M's NIL money means that Nick Saban is suddenly going to go away, right? I heard somebody a couple days ago say, I think Nick's probably done after this year, maybe one more, because he doesn't want to have to adapt to this new era of college football. Dude, Nick Saban's been in the game a very long time.
By the way, if he decides to retire, it's because he's old. It's not because he can't adapt. And it has nothing to do with me being old, but I sometimes struggle with adapting to things, and I complain the entire way, but then I get there. Yeah. Sometimes it's just in people's personality, and it seems to be in Nick Saban's personality to do things this way.
Nick Saban is old. He is not lazy. Nick Saban is old. He is not inept.
But if he retires now, after the season, that will be the headline.
Oh, of course it will. Yeah. Nick Saban couldn't compete in the NIL world. I got $1 Nick Saban's in the playoffs this year. Anybody want in?
Wow, what a stretch that is.
I know. Now, the reason that there's a lot of people on the internet saying Jimbo Fisher won the fight between he and Nick Saban is not because of the fact that he had a hot take on Nick's hot take about the NIL being the reason that Texas A&M has the #1 recruiting class in the country. And don't get me wrong, Nick Saban is right. He's not wrong, okay? He's just not wrong. The reason that people are saying that Nick Saban won this fight, that Jimbo Fisher won this fight, is because Nick Saban fired a shot at Texas A&M right? They bought the recruiting class. That was it. In response to the shot being fired at Texas A&M, Jimbo Fisher. Nick Saban fired a pistol at Texas A&M. Jimbo Fisher rolled an artillery cannon up to Nick Saban's front door and blasted through it, right? He said, you guys have made him the czar of college football, and he's the best. Dig into where he came from and how he did it and see what you come up with. He said it's easy to be at the top when you've been given all the advantages. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Alabama has any special advantages that other big schools, Georgia, LSU, Florida State in the past haven't had. I think Nick Saban is just a really good football coach / recruiter.
So if you're a reporter there, I don't know if he took questions or not.
He did.
Wouldn't you be like, okay, you've mentioned how he got there. Can you give us some insight about, because obviously you have the knowledge about it. Will you go ahead and tell us how he did what you said?
I'm so glad you said that. Because one of the complaints I had about the press conference is before questions, he took pot shots at Nick Saban. During questions, he took pot shots at Nick Saban, right? He said at one point, you go coach under guys like Bobby Bowden to learn what to do and how to do it the right way, and you go coach under other guys to learn how to not do it the right way and what not to do. And I'm like, damn, all right, Jimbo. Now, not a single reporter said, Coach, you want to fire off an example, right? You got all these takes about Nick Saban was cheating and doing it the wrong way. Do you want to pop off an example? The reason that did not happen is because this press conference got called about 10:15 yesterday morning to happen at about 11:30 yesterday morning. The only people that were in the room were Texas A&M reporters, right?
I was going to say, where's the Peter Ducey equivalent of sports reporter in there who could care less and ask the questions that everybody wants the answer for? Where is that guy?
There was no Andrea Adelson, right? I was in the when we did the Clemson preseason media days last year. Andrea Adelson was in there, and Jimbo got asked. What was it about? Was it about NIL or transfer portal? Anyway, Jimbo had whatever comments. Everybody was heated about Dabo. I got all my O's confused. I got Coach O, Dabo, Jimbo. Anyway,
Buddy Rowe, Jimbo, Dabo.
Dabo got asked. Dabo had whatever comment floating around at the time that everybody was poking him with a stick. And then it came time for Clemson Media Days. And Q&A period popped up for Dabo. And there was like one or two microphones going around, right? And Andrea Adelson got the first question because, dude, she's ESPN, right? She's the most high-profile reporter in the room. And I had every plan of asking him about this comment. Hey, Coach, go into more depth about this. Andrea Adelson grabbed the mic and asked him very first question. Point blank. I'm struggling today.
Point Break is a very good movie by underrated. I mean,
Bodie.
Patrick Swayze.
So, Gary Busey. So...
Utah, give me two.
So, anyway.
So what'd she ask him?
It just was a direct pointed question about because again, every 6 months there's a new comment from Dabo that gets everybody up in arms, right? So Andrew just asked him straight up point blank about whatever that comment was at the time. That guy / gal was not in the room for Jimbo yesterday. That high-profile reporter who could get away with it because Texas A&M knows yanking their credentials, kicking them out of the room, creates more of a story, more of a buzz than just answering the question, right? If Rob Brown from the Fan Upstate goes, hey, Dabo, you said this about the transfer portal. Everybody is up in arms about this. Do you want to respond? And Clemson took that to heart and said, okay, Rob Brown of the Fan Upstate is no longer welcome in these press conferences. It would not impact Clemson because I could come in here and whine and moan and complain about it. But considering the majority of the people who hear my voice every day are A, Clemson fans who are going to go, well, then screw you, buddy. Or B, South Carolina fans that are going to go, well, screw Clemson, buddy. It's not going to have an impact. But if a big, high-profile boat talker college football head goes in there and asks the question and gets yanked, he can go write a bigger storm. You know, Jimbo Fisher said Nick Saban was a cheater and a liar. I asked him about it, and A&M immediately kicked me out of the press conference and ripped my credentials. Sounds to me like A&M has something to hide, something to be ashamed of. And I penned that story, and I put it up on the Big Dog website. And what happens? It's now the narrative about Texas A&M, right? That's now the narrative. I wish that guy was in the room yesterday because I wish one person would have had the stones to go, hey, Jimbo, you've now accused Nick Saban of cheating or doing it the wrong way about 11 times so far. Would you like to go ahead and give us an example, or are you just going to keep being vague and dismissible? Right? I'd sit here all day and go, y'all, there are producers I like to work with like Lonzo, and then there are producers like, well, I won't say who, but they do it the wrong way. And I've worked with them before, right? That'd be a crap thing to do.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd have used that example because some listeners will just turn that into something
that
is not there.
Diesel does nothing wrong, and I love him, and he's a sweet little cherub-faced angel. All right? I'll pinch his little cheeks. He's adorable. Point is, being vague and not offering examples doesn't do anything, which is why, like I said, between these two, I am squarely team Saban in this. I don't necessarily agree with him wanting to throw A&M under the bus for ending up with a great recruiting class. I think he did it the wrong way. But I think Jimbo dramatically overreacted. Let me take a break. I'm Rob. He's Lonzo. The Fan Upstate is on your radio. This is the Rob Brown Show. Back after this. Hello, all you beautiful people.
Yeah, we're going to have a very short time.
Yeah. It's all right. Worth it.
Are you, though? Are you sorry? Because I don't think you are.
Not even a little sorry.
It's Friday. Rob Brown don't care.
None.
You know how you know he doesn't care? You know how you know he means business? He ain't got no glasses on. He don't care. He's ready to go, ready to throw, ready to something.
1 year ago today, we did our first, what do we call it? Remember we did the show with me, Diesel, and Mark on the same things doing the UFO talk? It was a year ago. We should do that again.
I don't like those because it lets people know who just want Mark and I to be enemies how much he and I are alike.
Don't disagree.
Yeah, yeah. That's the one where Mark kept just dropping out because I think he was driving somewhere and just boom, he was gone. Always after a point, just like disappeared. As if being interfered with by
Yeah, if
aliens.
there was one of the four of us on that thread that was going to get kicked off. All right, we're going to put the Saban Fisher stuff in the back pocket for a few minutes because we got NBA playoffs to talk about. We got NHL playoffs to talk about. We got PGA Championship happening right now out in Tulsa, Oklahoma, y'all. So we got to get into all of that. And on top of that, we lose Lonzo at 10:30. So we got to fit all that in half an hour. How about that? So here's what I'll say. I'll kind of finish this up here with this thought. I thought ultimately that Nick Saban was, again, he did not accuse Texas A&M of cheating. He did not accuse them of doing anything wrong. He just said they brought their players. You know what this is like? This is like having the guy that rocks the $100,000 Rolex on his watch, on his wrist. And somebody very publicly goes, that guy can't understand the problems of real life because he's got a boatload of money. And then he goes, whoa. You're accusing me a bit. And it's like, dude, nobody's accusing you. We're just saying you got a lot of money, right? You got a lot of money, therefore you don't understand some stuff. That's what this is. And Jimbo Fisher's the dude rocking the Rolex, but trying to convince you he's blue collar and hasn't broken any rules. We didn't accuse you of stealing the money. We didn't accuse you of bribing somebody out of money or laundering the money. We just said you got the money.
I just want to say, more money, more problems. That's all I want to say.
I mean, if you consider the number one recruiting class in the country problems, if you consider Texas A&M's,
it is a problem if you can't win with it.
That is a fact.
Because now even more attention
the
is on it.
expectations are there.
Yes.
Yeah. Texas A&M had national championship expectations when they hired Jimbo Fisher. Now they definitely do. All right.
Yeah, if you can't win with that,
you can't win.
Right.
But he's already won. I mean, he's won a championship. So anyway, Nick Saban did nothing wrong. I mean, he was, again, he's basically trying to protect the status quo, the pre-NIL college football era. And I get it. I am squarely Team Saban, though, because Jimbo Fisher acted a fool behind the mic. And by the way, you know who the coach in football that I want to face the least is? It's angry Nick Saban. That's the guy I want the least, right? Because Nick Saban has got on his schedule this year Auburn and LSU and whoever he's got out of the East. Do you know what game he has now circled in red? And what have I told you guys in the past? Nick Saban doesn't beat you on game day. He's an average game day coach. Nick Saban beats you in February and March and April and May and June, July, August. He's got you squared up and sighted in before then. What game do you think Nick Saban now has circled in red on his calendar for this fall?
I just want a post-game clothesline. That's all I want. I want one of them.
JBL at midfield. Nick Saban v. Texas A&M is now must-watch TV. And Jimbo, you brought it on yourself, big dog. You brought it on yourself. Hour 2 next on The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. I love it, Steven. I love it. I have MLB The Show. I got MLB The Show, and I have not played it yet. That's not true. That's not true. I've jumped on. I played a couple of online games with buddies of mine, but I haven't, when I say I haven't played it, I haven't gone into, create a player mode yet. I haven't created Rob Brown yet. I played a couple of online exhibitions.
How can you play a game like that and not create yourself yet?
Because I got 19 other games that I'm hammering hard right now. Because I'm playing through the Create a Player on WWE. Because I picked up another Skyrim-esque game. Have you ever heard of A Bard's Tale?
I have.
Okay.
I've never played it, but I've heard of it.
A Bard's Tale is like Skyrim, except the gameplay is more D&D. Like there's when you come into combat, it's turn-based. There's a grid on the ground. You have to manage your own spells and inventory and stuff like that. So is it
true turn-based though? You attack, they attack, that type thing. Is
so,
movement involved in that too, or
yeah,
is
so
it?
like you'll have you as you go, you'll pick up and lose party members. So you'll have a party, and then basically you have.
Do you lose them because they die, or just because it's part of the story?
They can die.
Okay, all right.
They can die. They can leave you. I have had one guy turn to the bad guy side. So whenever it is your turn, you have 3 opportunity points, right? So your turn, you get 3. So you can do 3 attacks. You can do, but anything you do counts as an opportunity. So you can move, and then there will be directionally based attack. So your opponent may square up an attack on his next turn that's going to hit here. And if your guy's there, you're going to take extra damage. So you can move him out of the way, but that costs one of your opportunities.
Right, just like in Dungeons & Dragons. Yeah.
Correct. It's like using your action to move and then double move. But there are other, you can, based on what your character is, you can level up one that if you move towards a character, you get that opportunity point back. There are different spells you can use to hasten and give yourself an extra opportunity point. But obviously by taking those, you reduce the number of attack slots that you have. I've just found it it's effectively D&D first person.
You get to choose your class and all that kind of stuff, or are you just a bard?
Yeah, you can pick your class.
Okay. So it's on Game Pass, right? Because
yeah,
I've seen it.
I'm on I created Andre. I created my D&D character in that game. The only thing that I really do not like about it is that I picked a fighter and I made him Andre. But Andre, my D&D character, all he uses is an axe. So all my stuff is axe based. This one, to be a fighter, in order to get to the second category of level ups, you have to level up everything in the first category, which means I have to level up sword and bludgeoning tool skills. And it's I don't want to use those. I just want to use an axe. So it's kind of disappointing, but it's enjoyable. It's definitely a D&D game though. I would like to go on the record and say, since that commercial, I have moved past dad bod into just fat.
Dad bod's subjective. I mean, it depends on who's looking at you. and they couldn't hear it. So I mean,
Oh, that's true.
so they don't
So I just randomly
unless
said
unless
that to
they
people.
heard it in the background
Yeah,
off the
yeah.
speakers when we. Yeah. It's like, Dad, Bob, what is he talking about?
Wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
I was gonna say good luck, because they did it again. They put it all the way underneath there.
Bounced twice and
No,
came back out.
it wouldn't shock me if part of the cleaning crew does not.
They're watching the stream.
Watch the stream. Yeah, I mean, because that is more than likely a possibility. Because I met one of the guys, and he is into sports and video games, so it's a good shot that he watches and goes, "I'll get him today." If you were on the cleaning crew and you knew, wouldn't you do that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, no, I wouldn't. I'd be putting it over here on top of this counter, but behind the filing cabinet. I'd be sticking it over there behind Mark McGuire.
that's a little too obvious, though. No, back there, that would be.
Yeah.
I mean, but up on something.
Oh,
it'd
I
be
know.
like-
I'd at some point I'd find a way to nail it to the wall so it was hanging off the wall. WWE just text or just email me and ask if I'd be interested in tickets to Clash at the Castle. Yeah, I just fly to England. Just go to Europe for a wrestling show.
Hey, you might. I mean, you've been known to just go places.
Would I be interested? Absolutely. If you are buying them and flying me, I will absolutely go to that wrestling show.
Well, as a media representative, you know.
Absolutely.
You know. If you go, will you like buy me a replica of the Buckingham Palace hats? I want one of those.
Hour number 2 of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the fan upstate. Hello, upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. It is great to be with you once again. I am Rob Brown. Directly across from me, the Wizard of Wave, the Professor of Perfection.
I'm a wizard.
He is the great one. He is Lonzo. He is a wizard. How do I know? Hit me up in like 3 months when we've got back-to-back Crystal trophies, because Lonzo's very good at his job.
We'll see. I'm always really nervous about that. I'm not nervous about the product because we have an excellent product, an award-winning product. Yes.
I will tell you that when we got to our turn last year, and they're like, "All right, next category," and what they do is they build the suspense by telling you what the category is, and then they pull a minute of your submission for this award, and they play it to the entire room, right? And when they did it last year, they played ours. And then they played there was only one other finalist last year. They played ours, and then they played the other one. And the other one was really good from an analysis standpoint, right? Like the guy clearly knew football.
And a seasoned veteran, well known in the entire state of South Carolina.
Yeah. And
which
I like
probably the best competition that we've ever had. So
I rolled up in there, initially going, "Hey, listen. I know this show's good, all right? How many times have I told you guys, if you want to do what I do, you have to have an ego. It is not an option. I have told every young person that I have worked with to learn this industry, you have to have an ego, because you've got to sit behind this microphone and know, not be convinced, not think. You've got to know that you are good enough to entertain people for 3 hours just with your brain and your words, right? Anyway, they played our clip. They played the clip from our competition, and I got real nervous. I'm like, oh, God, I'm not going to win. Like, I know our show's good, but we're not going to win.
By the way,
I was about to puke, Lonzo.
Rob is nervous because this is kind of I'm giving away a secret here.
Fire away.
He gets a little jittery.
Oh, yeah.
And makes a little bit of noise. And there was a lot of noise to my right, I believe. I think you were on the right.
Yeah.
It was just a lot of noise.
Yeah, I was major nervous. Major nervous. At one point, like, the girlfriend's got the hand on my thigh, not because she just wants to lovingly put the hand on my thigh, but to stop my leg from bouncing up and down and shaking the place. Like, you got to chill.
And I'm a little nervous because I'm thinking, when we win, what is Rob going to do up there?
And what did Rob do? Dropped a Ric Flair woo on the whole damn room.
And I should have done what I was going to do, let my hair down and just
That's true.
rock and roll. I was going to do
called
it.
the shot and then you didn't do it.
Yeah, because I was nervous.
I told the boss, I'm like, yo, if I win this thing, they hand me that trophy, I'm dropping a Ric Flair woo on this entire crowd. He's like, go for it. Go bananas.
Yeah,
So I did.
So this year, you need to go full on Megadeth, or was it Lamb of God? Which one?
Oh, no.
No, and say,
Oh,
can I
no.
get a Ric Flair woo?
Oh, no.
Yes.
You already know what I'm doing.
No, because that is the height of arrogance, and only probably like 3 people in the room will get it. But I'm down for it. You got to have the ring on though.
Okay.
All right. So if you do it, I'll do it.
Done.
Yeah, it's
Got
not
the
that
scarf already.
Yeah, I don't know. I can get me one by then.
I won't say anything. I'm just going to walk up there and look at it. I'm going to go full MJF on it. That's what we're going to do. I'm just going to walk up there, look at it, and walk off. No words are needed.
No matter what the theme is, now I'm getting me an MJF scarf.
go.
We're doing this.
Already got mine.
We are doing
Let's
this.
go.
I know you got yours. I saw it.
Let's talk NBA basketball, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? I want to go back, if you don't mind, because last night we had game number 2 between the Celtics and the Heat. We haven't yet broken down, we did break down game number 1 between the Celtics and the Heat. I would like to point out, Lonzo, because I said going into this, I just think the Miami Heat are not as good as the Boston Celtics, okay? And in game 1, Marcus Smart was unavailable. Last night, Marcus Smart came back, played 40 minutes, was dominant. I would like to point this out, Zoe. There have been 8 quarters of basketball thus far, right? 8 quarters of basketball. Physical comedy's so much better when the stream's up. There have been 8 quarters of basketball so far, yeah? 7 of them have been won by the Miami Heat. By the Boston Celtics. 1 of them has been won by the Miami Heat. This series should absolutely be 0-2 Boston. Going back to Boston, by the way. It should be 0-2 Boston, going back to Boston. Miami won 1 quarter. A 1 quarter, by the way, which was the worst statistical quarter of the Boston Celtics, like, all year long. There have been 8 quarters of basketball. The Boston Celtics have won 7 of them. They are the better basketball team. They just absolutely played like boat in 1 quarter, and it was big enough to cost them that game. This series should be 2-0 going back to Boston. It's 1-1 instead. Celtics in maybe 5. Honestly, maybe 5.
So Boston did play good defense last night, but Miami had their opportunities. Their shots just weren't dropping.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't because of the defense. Part of it was that, but they had some open shots that just did not go in. So they looked a little, I don't want to say dead, but they looked a little off last night. So I'm not saying this series is over, especially since I predicted Miami to win. Just like you were worried after game 1. The series is tied. We know we got 3 more games at least, right? So this thing could go back and forth, or Miami could go to Boston and go, hey, we're done. They could do what Phoenix did in their last game. They could
just fall apart.
Yeah, they could do that, but I don't think they're going to. And both teams have had players missing. Boston got their players back last night, and Smart was awesome. He was
phenomenal.
Even with his green hair, which okay.
I dig it.
Yeah,
I wish I was that. Like, I wish I was cool
yeah,
enough to get away with that.
But you know what? It's like half commitment. It's like green highlights. I mean, if you're going to go green, I want your hair Joker green.
No.
I want it completely green. I want it to take either you shaving yourself bald or like 6 months for that stuff to grow out.
I think it's dope. I wish.
That's like he had his buddy in the locker next to him say, "Hey, sprinkle some of that in there."
No, I like it. I think it's a good look. I wish that I was cool enough to pull a look like that off, right? I wish I was. I'm not. I wish I was. It's dope. I like it. You know what else I like about Marcus Smart? His basketball game. Because last night, my dude, coming off a busted wheel, showed up and absolutely dominated, right? Absolutely dominated. 127-102 in a game, Lonzo, that frankly was not that close. All right? The Celtics went to their bench about the start of the fourth quarter. The Heat went to theirs about 6 minutes left in the game because it was all but done at that point. How about Jason Tatum? 27 on 8 of 13, 4 of 6 from deep. 5 boards and 5 assists to go with it. How about 24 from Marcus Smart on 8 of 22 from the floor, 5 of 12 from deep, and 12 assists to go along with 9 boards. The only starter that the Celtics left in late in the game was Marcus Smart. They wanted him to get that last assist and get his triple-double, right? Which was dumb, don't get me wrong. If the guy had not been hurt, fine, leave him in there. Let him get an assist, right? Let him bring the ball up the floor every time till he records that assist and gets his playoff triple-double. But he's been hurt, man. Sit him down. Don't overthink it, Beantown. Jaylen Brown, 24 on 9 of 17, 4 of 7 from deep, 2 of 2 from the stripe. 8 boards and 3 assists from him. Every Boston Celtics starter, with one exception, which was Robert Williams III, had double digits. You also got 19 off of the bench for Grant Williams. You also got 10 off of the bench from Peyton Pritchard. Miami, on the other hand, had Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets. He is their dude, and not much else. 14 out of Vincent, 14 out of Oladipo off the bench, but he had to go to the bench late because, I guess, an injury. Seemed like he got banged up or something late, but he had to go sit. Outside of that, not much. PJ Tucker had 5 in 22 minutes. He got hurt. 6 for Bam Adebayo. 6 for Strus, who, by the way, got crossed over by Marcus Smart so hard, I think my dude probably needed to go ahead and retire at the end of that game. Did you see what I'm talking about? Marcus Smart put that dude on ice skates and sat him down at the free throw line, and then didn't even have the audacity to step back and shoot the open 3. He decided to take 2 steps forward towards Strus, laying on the ground, and just shoot it right over his prone body.
Which would you rather happen to you? Would you rather be crossed over like that, or would you rather be just posterized with a dunk?
Posterized. I'd rather be posterized all day.
I agree. I think being posterized is a whole lot less embarrassing than being crossed over and just falling on you. Yeah.
Put me on a poster all day before you put me on ESPN's da-da-da top 10, looking like I got wheels on the bottom of my shoes, and having Marcus Smart stand over me with that shooter's hand in the air. Plus, if you cross me up like that, so there's a chance you miss the shot. And if you miss the shot, it doesn't matter, right? Nobody's going to go, oh, watch Rob Brown get crossed into another galaxy here, and then Marcus Smart misses the shot. That didn't happen.
Well, yeah, I think if I'm get crossed over and I fall down, I think I would rather the guy make the shot. I think it's worse if they cross you over and then they miss.
It's not going on the highlight reels if he misses.
Yeah, but you know.
It's not going on the highlight reels.
And I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing that at that level you're still watching film, and the guys in the locker room are going to give it to you. Man, it crossed you over and missed the shot.
Keep me off the highlight reels, please. I'm begging you. 127-102 Boston wins last night. Now, let's go back to a game 2 nights ago that we did not get a chance to speak about yesterday. Thank you, Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban. 112-87 Warriors over the Mavs. I said coming into this that Dallas has the biggest problem in sports. Golden State is just better than they are. Look, it's the NBA. It's weird. Stuff goes back and forth. Teams you don't think can do, and teams that you think will don't. That being said, Lonzo, you pick the Mavs in this series. I don't know if it's A, genuine, B, because I picked Golden State, and so far, the best bet is whatever bet Rob didn't make, or C, your blind, irrational hatred of Steph Curry, but you picked the Mavs. From that game, a 112-87 blowout at Golden State. What does Dallas do tonight to get back in the series and level it out at one?
Well, first of all, I feel like you just went Nick Saban on me, and you doubt my sincerity. You doubt, basically like saying that I'm only doing this because first of all, Luka Doncic is awesome, and now he's got that Skyrim scar across his face.
He does, by the way.
Yeah, which is,
Number one.
Cut your nails, dude.
Number one, how is that not a foul?
Yeah,
okay?
well.
Number one, how is that not a foul? Number
that
two,
also is indicative of how the game was going to go, that they're not going to call stuff, even though there's visible evidence that he got fouled.
Dude.
What, did he do it to himself?
Yeah. The best part of that wasn't the foul, wasn't the look. The best part of that was after the game when the young lady on the sideline who's doing the post-game interview goes up to Luka and goes, Luka, a lot of stuff to talk about. First and foremost, though, how's your face? And Luka goes, it's good. It makes me look cool. I'm like, yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. When I create my player on the next edition of NBA 2K, one of the personalization options better be Luka Scar.
Yeah, because that thing's going to be there for a while. As far as Luka goes, the defense for Golden State did what they needed to do as far as that goes. He still did pretty well, but the rest of his team didn't step up.
Yeah, 20 points for Luka, 6 of 18 from the floor. Here's my problem. 3 of 10 from deep. Not the 3 of 10 from deep. It's at about 5 of the 7 he missed were not good threes. They were desperation threes because he was getting double-teamed and trapped, and nobody for Dallas was moving off the
double-teamed,
ball.
trapped, and scratched.
Yeah.
So he knows it's gonna be painful, and you just gotta try to muscle through that. But if the refs they're not calling it, so it forced him to go outside, which a lot of times he can make those shots. But the rest of the team needs to step up. And I'm still upset, and I talked to you about this off the air a little bit, about why Steph Curry gets away with the shimmy and all that kind of stuff. No one goes at him. But Luka laughs a little bit, during the Phoenix series. Oh, that's what you can't do that. You can't. But Steph can do whatever he wants as he chews on his binky, doing his little. My didy's dirty. That's what that is. My didy's dirty. Someone changed my didy.
You make me so uncomfortable talking about Steph Curry.
Good.
With binkies and didies.
Good. Don't make him mad. He'll throw that binky into the crowd.
I don't know. I kind of like the 3-point shimmy with the 3-point sign.
No, that's a 2-point shimmy because his didy needs changed.
Listen, I love Steph. Lonzo hates Steph. This series comes in. Problem is, I love Luka too.
By the way,
if there is a player in the association that I want on my team working under the assumption that that player is going to get it handed to him, that player is going to get beat up and wrecked every time he's down low, it might be Luka. It would be Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, or Luka Doncic. Those would be the 3, right? Those would be the 3 that if you said, listen, this guy's going to get the hell beat at him under the rack, and he's not going to get a lot of fouls called for it, I want Luka, Joel, or Jokic. Actually, not Jokic, because Jokic will lose his mind and start hucking basketballs at dudes. Jokic got kicked out in the first round because he was getting hammered without calls, and he got said, who was it that that waved at him?
He looks like a bad guy from a superhero movie. Someone who would be on Joker's crew or someone, because when he gets that look on his face, it's like no.
It was Draymond Green. That's right.
Of course,
it was Draymond. Nikola Jokic was getting hammered underneath, could not catch a foul to save his life. Finally got furious, gave a what for to the ref, got bounced from the game. And Draymond Green waved goodbye to him because Draymond Green's a jerk. Hilarious, but a jerk. Anyway, game 2 tonight, Western Conference Finals. I got bad news for you, Alonzo. The Mavericks are going to be going back home down 0-2.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. When we predicted series, when we predicted who would be in the finals, we didn't say how many games. And these are 7-game series. And so we'll see. I'm still going with my pick that Dallas is going to win, that they're going to somehow rally, that Draymond's going to do something stupid. One of the Splash Brothers might get injured. I don't want that to happen, by the way, but they might be. It's a possibility. They've been prone to that the last couple years.
Sure.
So I just, and stop with Steph Curry being the most pure shooter in the history of basketball. That would be Larry Bird.
No.
For sure.
Larry
Bird's stroke compared to Steph, and Larry Bird's also tough. And probably a better trash talker than Steph.
Well, definitely. Listen, he is definitely a better trash talker. He was a phenomenal player. Steph Curry. Here's the thing about Steph that drives me a little crazy. Scratch that. Here's the thing about the way people talk about Steph Curry that drives me a little crazy. What drives me the craziest about Steph is the fact that Steph Curry has got handles. Steph Curry's got moves. Steph Curry is as likely to put you on roller skates as Marcus Smart is. Nobody ever talks about it. All they ever talk about is Steph being able to drain threes from literally anywhere on the floor. And that's right. Steph Curry is the best pure shooter in the NBA today. He may be the best pure shooter in the history of the association. The problem is that Steph Curry has got handles and he's got wheels on him, and nobody ever talks about it.
Yeah, but that's his own fault. When he first started out, when they talked about the people with the players with the best handles, it was him and Kyrie, and they would show him and Kyrie. But because Steph has gotten so good at the 3-point, it's taken away from the fact that he can handle the ball well.
I like that you made that Steph Curry's fault. It is Steph Curry's fault that he is so good at shooting 3-pointers that nobody else wants to talk, or nobody wants to talk about his handles. The biggest problem with the media is that you get so caught up in one thing with NBA players that we forget to, right? Draymond, we talk about Draymond as a defender, and he is. He's a great defensive player. Draymond Green has been really solid in the this postseason.
Who's dirtier, Draymond or Dennis Rodman?
Come on. Well, you know what? That is a fair question, because Rodman was strategically dirty, right?
Unless you're a cameraman, but yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, man. How did that cameraman not make $1 million off of Dennis Rodman?
Now that will cause you to lose your groin.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. Not lose. Have it taken from you. Sorry, honey. I know it's our wedding. I know tonight was supposed to be the big night, but Dennis Rodman.
And it may be recency bias on my part, but I'm going with Draymond as dirtier.
I'm fine with it.
Because I think he's sneakier. I think that makes you dirtier. I think if you get away with it more and you're sneakier and you're not so obvious, and then then you can smile it away. Rodman didn't really smile it away. I mean, he just kind of
horrified you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Draymond Green has that awesome smile, and he just throws it up there like, hey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did do that, bro. What are you going to do about it? Draymond, on the other hand, Draymond took my dude out by grabbing both sides of the jersey and joking him down to the floor, but then caught him at the very last second to explain it away. Oh, what do you mean? I couldn't have done that on purpose. I caught him, didn't I? Yeah, bro. After he hit the ground. Come on, Draymond. Let me take it back to Steph Curry. Steph Curry has handles. He's got moves. Steph Curry is as good and efficient as getting to the basket as Luka Doncic in a different way. Luka will bully you to the basket, which, by the way, is why I love the guy, right? Luka will bully you to the basket and force you to collapse around him. You got two options. You collapse 2 or 3 around Luka, or he's just going to posterize you and lay up onto the glass, or You leave somebody else open by bringing 3 to you, and you're done. Luka's as good as getting to the glass. Luka's as good as getting to the glass as you want it to be. Steph is just as good, but nobody talks about it. That's the problem. And that's why the Warriors win tonight, and that's why the Warriors go back to Dallas up 2-0. This might be a sweep. This might be a sweep. I'm confident in saying. I didn't say it will, said it might. It's not going to 6. At worst, Dallas gets 1 at home.
You almost had me to say you want to bet, but I always lose on basketball bets. And it's Golden State. And I've learned my lesson. Never mind.
Lonzo just had flashbacks.
It was
He just
it was
had
a, it was a flowery
flashbacks.
it was a flowery flashback.
Was it spaghetti strap?
No.
Holster back?
No, I think it was more like it had shoulders to it.
Like
it,
Sunday church lady?
It was more like a sundress type of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know, because I'm a fun person.
Yeah, of
you know,
course.
that's what
Fair enough. Fair enough. All right. I'm going Warriors in 5 tops. Might be a sweep, but 5 tops. Let's take a break. Everybody say bye to Lonzo. Bye, Lonzo.
Sadly, I must adieu.
Have fun doing whatever else you're doing. That is definitely not as fun as doing this show with me.
That is without a doubt the truth.
Oh, I know. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm back after this on the Rob Brown Show. It's the Fan Upstate. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I am back. Sorry about that.
Now you can buy the used car you want with a fixed, low-rate loan from Lightstream.
The loan process was so easy. I signed all the documents and completed the process while getting my hair done.
I had my money the same day with Lightstream. Having that cash helped me get a much better deal. And the Lightstream payments are so affordable.
Now you can get the money you need, fast, for the used car you love with Lightstream. Loans start at just 3.99% APR with autopay and excellent credit.
All right, Stream, what y'all want to talk about? You're in charge. I don't want to do this anymore.
That's LIGHTSTREAM.com/RATE for your extra discount. Lightstream.com/rate.
Subject to credit approval, rates range from 3.99% APR to 9.49% APR and include a 0.5% auto-pay discount. Lowest rate requires excellent credit. Terms and conditions apply. Offers are subject to change without notice. Visit lightstream.com/rate for more information.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Borderlands Comics and Games, proud sponsor of the Upstate Pulse, has been upstate South Carolina's leader in comics and games for over 30 years. Borderlands has over 300,000 comics, graphic novels, and games. They also have the biggest variety of toys and collectibles around. And now, they're your Pokemon headquarters. Borderlands Comics and Games, 1434 Lawrence Road. Check them out on Instagram and Facebook.
I'm Mark Ryan. If you're like me, you're no interior decorator and you need a bit of help putting together an outfit that pops. I'm beyond grateful I met my friends at Smith & James Fine Men's Clothing because they make me look like I know what I'm doing. They'll help you find the best color combinations with slacks, shirts, polo suits, and so much more. There's nothing quite like surprising your sweetheart with a new getup that has you looking your best. Check out their collection today at smithandjames.com and stop by their stores at 222 Trade Street in Greer or at their new location on Verde Boulevard in Greenfield.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook touching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more. All for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
This feature is sponsored by BioNTech and Pfizer.
For those of you watching that have asked, Lonzo had to step away because there's some stuff going on WORD that requires his attention. It's just today and tomorrow. But Lonzo, of course, being the wizard that he is, his attention was required to take care of that. And so your boy gets to roll solo. That's all good, though, because I can. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, welcome back. The Rob Brown Show is right here on the Fan Upstate, 97.7 FM Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, and, of course, around the world on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. Grab it, download it, put it on all of your digital devices, and don't miss a minute of the outstanding broadcasting that we bring you on a daily basis right here on the Fan Upstate. All right. So we got a little NBA playoff talk in there before Lonzo had to eject from the show to go run the other station because Lonzo's in charge of all of the things. But I want your thoughts. Sincerely, I want your thoughts. I want to know if you believe the Mavericks have any shot. And by the way, the phone lines are open at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFONE, 844-326-3663. You can also text us on the Preferred Home Services text line, which is up and running and available for you. 71307. Start your text with FAN, 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 so that we can read them on the air for you. 71307 is the text line. I don't see how the Mavericks get back into the series, which is, I know it's, it seems like a bit of an exaggeration to say when you are talking about a team that is down 1-0, right? It's not like they're getting killed right now. It's not like they're down 3. They are currently in the hole a single game, man. That is not the end of the world, but they're in the game a single hole, or in the hole a single game with 0 positives to take out of game 1, right? When I break down NBA games like we saw out of Dallas Golden State in round number 1, one of the things that I want to do, you've heard me ask Lonzo this question many times throughout these NBA playoffs. What did you take away from that game that leads me to believe the next game is going to be any different? And in certain occasions, there are spots that I can go, okay, well, you know, they lost by 30, but the field goal percentage was just fine. It means you just need to shape up the defense a little bit and you'll be better off. Or vice versa. Yeah, they lost by 10, but they held the opponents to a 36% shooting percentage, meaning the defense was good, meaning all they've got to do is get themselves some more opportunities on the offensive side to get turned around. Go back and watch Dallas Golden State game 1. Pick me a positive. Pick one, but give me one. Give me one. Texter says, Mavs always have a shot with Luka if he's on fire. He looks like a beer league softball player hitting major league pitching like it's little league. I would love to say Luka on fire helps the Mavs. The problem is, even if Luka's on fire, if everybody else plays the way that they played in that last game, it doesn't matter. Luka could have dropped 60 in that game, right? Or that's not true mathematically. Luka, what did he put up in game 1? 20 something? He could have doubled what he did, and they still lose that game. And by the way, actually probably could have done 30 because late in that game, the Warriors were able to turn to the bench and let them get some PT, some XP. Nothing, man. Nothing. So even if Luka is on fire tonight, if nobody's going to help him, it's not going to be enough. And on top of all of that, even if Luka is on fire and he does get guys helping him tonight, the Warriors are still that good, man. Right? This is the point that I made from the beginning. Sometimes the other team is just better than you are, and this is one of those occasions. The Warriors are just better than the Mavericks, top to bottom. And that's not a shame. It's not a shot at Dallas. The Warriors are better on paper than everybody who's not Brooklyn on paper. Be abundantly clear about that. The Warriors on paper are the best team in the NBA, talent-wise. On paper, the best team in the NBA. Shocked they've only won 53. That should have been a 60. But remember, they've had injuries, right? Steph was hurt for a while. Clay was hurt for a while. And that kind of hurt. But here's the thing. Even if Luka is in fuego this evening for Dallas, Even if Dorian Finney-Smith steps up and helps. It doesn't matter. Now, scratch that. It might matter. You know what it takes? It takes Dallas being perfect. And it takes the Warriors being less. That's it. It is going to take Dallas being perfect, and it's going to take the Warriors not doing that. Texture says, fan, if the Grizz can beat the Warriors a couple times, the Mavs can too. Again, I'm not arguing, but the Warriors have hit a different gear in this series, have they not? When Ja Morant in the first couple of games was going off, and I know they won one without Ja, right? They won one with and one without. Is that correct? Ja Morant's a special player, first off. So's Luka. Don't disagree. I think that the Warriors in that series against the Grizz were not comfortable yet. They hadn't hit their stride. I know it's one game so far, but that Warriors team we saw in game one did not look like the same Warriors team we saw against the Grizz, right? Against the Grizz, they looked a little panicked. They looked a little uncomfortable. Against Dallas in game one, they looked like they were in complete and total control with no slowdown at all. They hit a different gear. Texter says, Warriors in 5. Clay should come out hot tonight since he struggled in game one. I mean, you're not wrong either, right? The Warriors won by 30 and could have been better. Could have been better. The point that I'm making there is the Warriors playing 90% as well as they did in game one win tonight by 20. The Warriors playing 85% as well as they played in game one. They win tonight by 10. I don't know. And finally on the text line, fan, cue the Vince McMahon entrance. You got no chance. No chance in hell. Bow. Yeah. If Lonzo wanted that bet. In fact, I got to tell you, I already went and I looked up the spread. I looked up the lines on tonight's game. It does not look good for the Mavs. Does not look good for the Mavs. If you go look up the odds right now, let me pull them back up since I switched computers. Picking the money line, which is just straight up winner, right? Straight up winner. The Warriors are minus 250. Minus 250. They are 2.5 to 1, dude. 2.5 to 1 favorites to win this. The Mavericks are plus 210. They are worse than 2 to 1 underdogs. The spread, minus 6.5. So they got it marked as a close game, but it's very clear that Las Vegas is feeling Golden State to go ahead and take a 2-game advantage back to the Big D, and I do mean Dallas. Anyway, I got to tell you, I'm sorry to tell you, I really like Luka Doncic. I really like the Mavs. I really like that team. I think that team's got a future. However, that future starts later. Because the Warriors right now are just better. Texture says game one against Memphis was Steph's first game back from injury. That's a great point. It's a great point. Well, like I said, the Mavericks are on a different gear now, and that's part of the reason why. Steph was out for a hot minute because of a busted wheel. He came back. It took the Warriors some time to get going. But would they do at the end of the Grizzlies series? Go ahead and put him on him. Go ahead and put it on him to end that series. Now they came out against Dallas, white hot. Steph is himself again. Y'all, the Dallas Mavericks are in trouble. There's no escaping that. They're going in the hole 0-2 tonight, and they're going back to Dallas down 0-2. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We'll wrap up hour number 2. We may get more into the Jimbo v. Saban thing in the third hour. We'll see. because some of you guys have hit me on the text line about it. Let's take a break. We're back after this. My name is Rob Brown. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show right here on the Fan Upstate. Yes, it was. Who's that, Trey? Yes, it was. I left my glasses in the office, and I'm too lazy to go get them. Yes, it was. Your boy, listen, Trey. Your boy does music from every genre and every decade, my man. You are as likely to get a Tupac reference out of me as you are to get a Mark Chestnut reference out of me or a Rage Against the Machine quote out of me. Lights out, Guerrilla Radio. Turn that boat up. The mighty Marlins. Oh. It was painful the other day to look up the NL East standings and see that the Braves were behind the Miami Mighty Marlins. Primarily because it meant somewhere Scott Stapp was better than me. Ouch. Not ideal. That you will soar. Old Scott Stapp. Oh, I hate this arm. Like, mine over there is so much more flexible than this one, and I hate it. Not that any of you care, but you know what?
finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Welcome to Total Wine and More. I'm on cooler duty this weekend. Fill it up with seltzers and canned cocktails. Oh, wow, great prices. Find what you love what you find. At Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly, B21.
Get in the game on the Rob Brown Show.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Putting a bow on hour number 2. Coming up in hour number 3. I have most definitely picked a side in the Saban v. Fisher feud. I have definitely picked a side, and it was an easy side to pick, if we're being honest. I said this earlier in the show, and I'm going to go into a little bit more detail coming up in the next hour. But it basically comes down to this. I think that Nick Saban kind of overstepped a little bit, right? I don't think he did anything wrong. But I think he just overstepped. I think he is reacting to some degree. And I think he's reacting because, as I mentioned yesterday, the status quo of college football has been upset, and he doesn't like it. Now, it's not going to impact him. He's still going to be fine because he's Nick Saban. But the status quo of college football has been upset, and therefore Nick Saban's got to do a bunch more work, and therefore Nick Saban's upset. And he decided to take that out on Jimbo Fisher, which is fine. Jimbo Fisher's school recruiting class is absolutely, entirely, and without a doubt, the illustration of what it looks like when your school kicks ass at NIL, because Texas A&M kicked ass at NIL and ended up with a great recruiting class. 100%. And because they did that, and Nick Saban did not, Nick Saban has now got to make a run at them to try to stand out a little bit. And for the record, it worked, right? Now, I'm going to tell you what comes next. And I'm going to tell you what comes next. Aside from on the football field, I'm going to tell you what comes next off of it. Watch. We have seen schools like South Carolina, for instance, that have, over the last couple of years, scratch that, months, hadn't been years for NIL, but over the last couple of months, have created these NIL organizations, right? Jimbo Fisher said that in his press conference yesterday. Set up these NIL organizations that are designed to organize and optimize NIL chances for athletes. And let's be honest about it, for football players, maybe basketball players, right? Of course. Of course. Texas A&M figured out how to do that and do it in a way that generated this ridiculous amount of attention to recruits. Boosters in places like Alabama, under Nick Saban, are going to start copying the model. And in a year or two, Nick Saban will also have a recruiting class like Jimbo Fisher's, built like Jimbo Fisher's, because the NIL offers coming out of Tuscaloosa are ridiculous. Watch. Watch. It is inevitable. It is only a matter of time. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. So we'll take another look. We'll go a little bit deeper. Again, I don't want to make the whole show about that. I got some other stories I want to get into. Stanley Cup update. Carolina Hurricanes, I was supposed to get into their OT winner from 2 nights ago yesterday, but thanks to Jimbo and Nick, could not get into that. So we'll get into that coming up in the next hour. I want to get into the Pac-12. Again, was going to talk yesterday about the fact that they have scrapped divisions inside the Pac-12. Divisions es no más amongst that conference. I want to talk a little bit about why and what that means. What's going to happen with the rest of college football? Will they follow suit? I got that coming up in the next hour. And one baseball player signed to the Yankees who has blown his opportunity. It's a really sad story, and it is a cautionary tale to young athletes. Try to fit that in as well. My name is Rob Brown, flying solo with you today. But I don't mind. I'm Rob. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. Pardon me, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, man.
team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
WORD Spartanburg.
WFBC HD3 Greenville, the official sports voice of you, the Upstate fan. CBS Sports Radio. An Odyssey station.
Man, check this out.
You're an official Rob Brown lockdown.
Represents being real.
Yeah. Unfiltered sports talk. Manufactured locally for the Carolinas.
Lockdown.
This is the Rob Brown Show. Get Rob. Only.
Upstate.
Here we go, the third, the final, the best, the money hour of the Rob Brown Show goes now. This is the Fan Upstate. Hello, Upstate South Carolina. Hello, America. Hello, world. Great to be back with you again. I am Rob Brown, flying solo with you for the final hour of the show. Lonzo had to run over to the other studio and get some work done for the big time sister station, the station of the year across South Carolina. So your boy's rolling solo, and I'm happy to do it because you guys are the best. That being said, I expect you to be a part of this hour of the show. I expect you on the phone lines at 844-FAN-PHONE, 844-FANFONE. I expect you on the text line at 71307. Start your text with FAN. The preferred home services text line is open. Text number is 71307. Start your text with FAN, F-A-N, and bring your heat, man. Bring the best you got. I also expect you to tweet me at The Rob Brown Show, at The Rob Brown, at Lonzo on Word, if you want to shoot him a text. Well, I guess a tweet, not a text. And, of course, you can also get everybody on the station at thefanupstate.com. Let me do this. I played the first half of that Jimbo Fisher audio for you yesterday, and we examined it. But I want to get into the back half of it because the back half is where I think it's interesting. Look, what Nick Saban said is that Texas A&M bought the number one recruiting class. And Jimbo Fisher took great umbrage with that. Problem is, Nick Saban wasn't wrong. Jimbo Fisher just responded to what Nick Saban thought he did. You ever been, some of y'all have been, some of y'all are. You ever been in a relationship or worked for a boss who did not hear what you said but heard what they wanted you to have said? Or in some cases, the opposite of what they wanted you to have said, right? They didn't hear what you said. They heard what they wanted to hear. I have been. And it can make for a stressful relationship, whether it is personal, romantic, business, it doesn't matter. If someone hears something they wanted to hear as opposed to hearing what you said, it can be a problem. And I think Jimbo Fisher did that. I think Jimbo Fisher came out and heard what Jimbo Fisher wanted to hear instead of what Nick Saban said. Nick said Texas A&M bought their recruits, right? Texas A&M bought their recruits. In fact, if I can find the sound from yesterday, I will go so far as to go back and play you what was said. They got it saved somewhere. Yeah. Let me go ahead and play you what it is that Nick Saban said, because I want you to hear something. Now, Here's the comments that got Jimbo Fisher all up in a tussle. Here's what Nick Saban initially said.
You've read about them. You know who they are. I mean, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first. A&M bought every player on their team, made a deal for name, image, and likeness. All right, we didn't buy one player. All right, but I don't know if we're going to be able to sustain that in the future because more and more people are doing it.
Okay. So that's what Saban said. He said, we were second in recruiting last year. A&M was first, and they bought every player, had an NIL deal for every player. Now, Coach Saban, I think that Coach Saban here said something that was really interesting. But what he did not say, Jimbo Fisher, was that you cheated. What he did not say is that you broke any rules. But that's the way Jimbo took it, right? Like, to open his presser yesterday, Jimbo repeatedly said, I don't understand why it is that, these old guys, these narcissists, these guys that think they're college football gods feel the need to go after 17-year-old kids and their families. I don't know why they feel the need to go after us, right? They're smearing our name. They're telling lies. First off, I would have loved to have been a reporter in that room, right? Would have loved to be been a reporter in that room, and I would have loved to have been a reporter in that room because there's a couple of questions that I would ask Jimbo Fisher, and it would get me kicked out, and it would get my credentials yanked, but I would ask them anyway. Number one, Jimbo, does every player in this recruiting class have an NIL deal? Yes or no? I don't need a big, long explanation. Does every player in the number one recruiting class that Texas A&M has brought in, do they all have an NIL deal? If the answer is yes, they all have an NIL deal, then not only was Nick Saban not wrong, he was right. Yeah, he was right. Number two, if that is the case, and that every player has an NIL deal, exactly what did Nick Saban say that has got you this heated, right? What did Nick Saban say that has got you this mad? Because he did not accuse you of cheating. He did not accuse you of doing anything wrong. All he said was that Texas A&M bought every player. Now, it's a, if I may go after Nick Saban, it's a crappy way of using the language, right? I've talked to you guys before. There's a fallacy I hate called poisoning the well, right? And when one poisons the well, what one is doing is it is trying to use language in a specific way to place an opponent's position in a debate into the negative before you even get there, right? It is trying to use language in a certain way to make one position look like the default negative position before you even open the debate about it. And I do feel like to some degree, Nick Saban poisoned the well a little bit with his take of they bought every player. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. They didn't buy anything. There is a legal way for NIL to be offered to student athletes, or at least the presence of it to be offered to student athletes, so that they can accept it and show up on campus and make some money. And from what Jimbo's saying, that's what A&M did, but that's all he needed to say. Second part of this is where Jimbo did lose me a little bit. The repeated use of 17-year-old kids, 17-year-old kids, 17-year-old, 17-year-old kids. Jimbo's kind of doing the same thing in that he is trying to make it sound as if Nick Saban was attacking the kids, and he wasn't. He wasn't attacking the kids. He was attacking the school. He was attacking Jimbo, the coaching staff, the recruiters, the NIL organizations, etc. That's who Jimbo was attacking. Nick Saban was attacking. It wasn't you. It wasn't the kids. It was you. It wasn't the kids' families. It was the school. So they're both wrong in that aspect, right? They're both wrong in that aspect. Then Jimbo decided to do what made it really interesting, right? Then Jimbo decided that he was going to start getting into Nick Saban is not a guy who should be out here throwing stones, what with his house being made of glass. Jimbo Fisher started saying, you go coach for guys like Bobby Bowden to learn what to do. You go coach for other guys to learn what not to do. And Jimbo said at one point, he said, I'm not a liar. I don't lie. If I lied when I was a kid, my mama would have slapped me in the side of the head. Quote, maybe somebody should slap him in the side of the head, end quote. Clearly talking about Nick Saban. So he takes his shot at Saban and says somebody ought to slap Saban in the back of the head. The minute after saying that, had he been a liar, he'd have got slapped in the head, obviously insinuating that Nick Saban's a liar. Again, I don't think Nick Saban lied. I think Jimbo Fisher took very personally a comment that Nick Saban made that should not have been taken personally. I think that's really it. I wish a single media person in that room, though, would have said, Jimbo, do you care to cite an example? You are claiming that you learned what not to do from Nick Saban, insinuating that Nick Saban has done something wrong or illegal or against the rules. Do you care to insinuate that? To respond to that, to that insinuation. Do you care to respond to that? Not a single person in there did. And I get it. The overwhelming majority of people in that room yesterday with Jimbo Fisher were guys and gals who cover Texas A&M for a variety of Texas A&M media outlets, right? That's their coach. That's their guy. More importantly, the press credential around their neck, allowing them into that press conference, that's their paycheck, man. That's their meal ticket. They can't go in there and go, Jimbo, you're calling out Nick Saban. We'd like to call you out to put something on the table to run with. All Jimbo said was, if you are a reporter, if you're a journalist, go dig into God's background, talking about Nick Saban, and dig it up. Find out what you can find out. You'll find a lot. But then he offered nothing else. He offered nothing else at all. Anyway, that's why I'm Team Saban on this. I mentioned back in the first hour, I was in the Florida Panhandle covering college football when Nick Saban left Florida State. I will say again, I gotta stop. I keep switching their names up. Jimbo Fisher left Florida State. When Jimbo Fisher left Florida State, the way he did it was, frankly, not the way to do it, right? Not the way to do it. He didn't get what he wanted out of the administration and out of the president of Florida State, so he just stopped. He quit recruiting. He quit working. The minute that he was able to get out of Tallahassee, the minute he was able to start getting that paper from Texas A&M, he did. Now, had he finished the right way in Tallahassee? Maybe I look at this a little differently, but I don't, right? I've always been about integrity, right? Well, you left Tallahassee in shambles. Is that true? Now, the back half of that press conference, when Jimbo Fisher started saying he knows that Nick Saban was cheating and we're done and screw that guy, and that's a paraphrase, but all of that stuff. That's where honestly, that's where he lost me. That's where I had to bail. And I had to bail at that point because either put something on the table or don't. But it got to the point that Jimbo sounded petulant. It got to the point that Jimbo sounded, I don't even know what other word I'd use there, but petulant, right? It sounded like he was making up accusations that Nick Saban did not say. And, look, this is the equivalent of, I'm a metaphor guy. When you break up with an ex, and on the way out the door, they're like, oh, and by the way, and then they drop something on you that makes you uncomfortable, right? Oh, by the way, I faked it the whole time. Like, whatever, you shouldn't care. You're done. You're over. You're out. Later, bye, Felicia. But if somebody says that to you, it sticks in the brain to the point that, like, years from now, you're like, no. That's what Jimbo sounded like, right? Sounded like Nick Saban hit a chord, and he decided to take it and turn it into something that it was not. It sounded like he decided to take it and turn it into something that Nick Saban did not say and run with that. And I think it's a bad look for Jimbo Fisher. I think it's a bad look for Jimbo. I think that press conference was a bad look. Don't get me wrong. I think it was absolutely hysterical, and it provided me with hours of content, probably more content about it than you guys would have wanted out of a lame story. But it is what it is. Jimbo took it to me more than Nick meant it as. Jimbo ran with it for days. And here we are. All right, I'm done with it, by the way. I think I've hit my breaking point. It was wild. It was the funniest thing that's happened in college football in a long time. And now that I've analyzed the hell out of it, I'm over it. So let's take a break. We come back. Mavs Golden State, we can get back into that. Greenville Liberty playing at home tonight. The debut game for that. Texter says, fan, that was my point yesterday. Jimbo said he didn't break any laws or rules, but never denied he bought his team. Yeah, good call. You are genuinely correct. He never said we didn't do that. He just said we didn't break any rules, which, by the way, Nick Saban never said you broke any rules. Texter says, a stuck pig squeals. Yeah, what did I say yesterday? When you say a bunch of things about how you're not, and you're not, and you're not, and you're not, and you're not this, and you're not that, it makes me think, you are. You are. Texter says, Jimbo went straight Will Smith on it. Keep my school's name out your blanking mouth. Yes, he did. Stupid, but yes, he did. And finally, let's be honest, every one of those big colleges, their hands are dirty and have been for years, except Clemson. We don't play that. LOL, hashtag dat boy. Back after this on the Rob Brown Show in the Fan Upstate. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you about my friends at Harley Davidson of Greenville. I am a big fan of HD Greenville, and I'm a big fan because I genuinely believe All right, dudes, I am back. Thank you very much for hanging out, as always. Slow day on the stream today. That's all good. Can't win them all. It's Friday. People are busy. Got work to do. Appreciate those of you hanging out, man.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Ben, what's up, buddy? Welcome in. Good to have you, my guy. Thank you for coming by. Appreciate it.
My friends and I are hanging out this weekend, and I'm on cooler duty.
Well, these seltzers and canned cocktails, they'll make you the king of the cooler.
Oh, that sounds good. Wow, I can fill my cooler without emptying my wallet?
Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. With the lowest prices in South Carolina. Drink responsibly, B21.
There's nothing worse than coming home from a hot day to find out that your AC unit isn't working. When this happens, you need an HVAC company you can trust. A company like Priority Heating and Air. Their HVAC specialist will give your system a thorough checkup. And if you need a new unit, Priority Heating and Air is a proud distributor of the Coleman line of HVAC systems. So keep your family or business cool this summer and give Priority Heating and Air a call today at 591-1847 or find them online at PriorityHeatingandAirHVAC.com.
Listen on the Odyssey app. Search the Fan Upstate.
It's Friday, my dudes and dudettes, of course. We haven't even, have I even mentioned that it's Friday yet? We haven't really brought up that it's Friday. We've been a little busy. Thanks to Saban and Jimbo Fisher for wrecking my show yesterday and basically screwing up the rest of my week, but it's all good. It's all good. All right. A couple more things I wanted to say before we get out of here. Last night, Miami gets smoked by Beantown. Look, it's the good news for Miami is that when I look at those two teams, I certainly do not see the disparity between them like I do with Dallas and Golden State, right? When I look at Dallas and Golden State, the separation between those two teams is like clear and obvious, yeah? Like clear and obvious. When I look at Miami and Boston, I don't see that same clear and obvious separation. I think Boston is better. I think Boston's got a better roster. I think Boston has better everything except maybe coaching. Lonzo and I both agree that Eric Spoelstra does not get the credit that he deserves for the coach that he is, right? He's a damn fine basketball coach. And I know a lot of people like to go, wait a minute, hey man, anybody's going to be, I would have the capability of winning a championship if you made me an NBA coach tomorrow, but you would have given me LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and Chris Bosh. There's a better than zero chance I would have walked out of the NBA with at least a championship ring. But Spo got a few. And Spo has put together some really interesting team runs around that. Around the fact that, hey, I had LeBron, now I don't. I put this team together, though. So maybe, I'm going to go maybe, they are going to say that the Boston Celtics have not quite the coach that they do in Miami. But overall, right, let's go check the odds on this. It's a 1-1 series. I'm going to bet without even pulling them up that the NBA futures, the NBA playoff series futures, let's see here. Yeah, the Celtics are minus 250 to win that. The Celtics are minus 250. And in case you are curious, Golden State being up 1-0. 1-0. The Warriors are minus 450 to win the series, man. Minus 450 to win the series. Boston's minus 250. The Miami Heat are plus 195 to come back and win. By the way, Dallas a much longer shot, plus 350 to win that series. These two, it is almost comic. Almost comedic. That's the correct word. Man, I'm bad at words. It is almost comedic to me that the first and second round of the NBA playoffs were so good. And it appears to me that the NBA's final round before the finals, their conference championship rounds, seem to be so damn mismatched, man. Like we came into the conference finals and I was thinking to myself, honestly, I don't see a clear-cut favorite, right? In the East or the West. I thought Golden State was probably the favorite out of the West coming in. But it didn't look like they were far away. Now, keep in mind, Steph was banged up. Clay had some work to do to get himself 100%. But they didn't look like clear-cut favorites. And now, all of a sudden, going up against Dallas, they definitely do. And Vegas agrees, minus 450 for Golden State to win that series. They're just better, right? There's no deep analysis here. I mean, we can sit here and we can talk about individual players. We can talk about individual matchups, but the reality is just look at the rosters. And this isn't always true in the NBA. I'm not saying Dallas can't win a game. But look at the roster of Dallas and look at the roster of the Golden State Warriors and tell me that the Warriors aren't just a better basketball team. Look at the roster of the Miami Heat. Look at the roster of the Boston Celtics and tell me that the Boston Celtics aren't just a better basketball team. They absolutely are. They absolutely are. They're just a better basketball team. And I suspect that's going to be the case that shows up in the final record of both of these series. I got hit on the text line earlier today that said, Rob, it's 1-1 in the Miami-Boston series. How are you going to say that Boston's clearly the favorite? Well, A, Vegas odds, but B, we have played 8 quarters of basketball. 8 quarters of basketball. Boston has won 7 of them. And by the way, 7 of them that were all pretty decent. The only blowout quarter was the one that Miami won, outscoring Boston 39-14. If Boston plays just a little bit better, in that one quarter, Boston's up 2-0, just like Golden State is going to be tonight. It is not a matter of if, it is a matter of watch and see. Watch and see. I guarantee it. They're just better. All right, let me give some love real quick before we get out of here. And do Twitter to wrap up the show. Can we go back to Wednesday night? Rangers Hurricanes in Lord Stanley Cup. Is it Lord Stanley's Cup? Yeah, that's it. I got this. Lord Stanley's Cup. How about the Carolina Hurricanes netting an OT winner on the way out the door when defenseman Ian Cole decided to go all about that boom, Ian Cole, baby. That's a defender, by the way. Defensor, Robert, you dummy. He is a defender. And decided, by the way, speaking of being dominated and finding a way to eke it out at the very end. Ladies and gentlemen, throughout that game, from start to finish, the New York Rangers were better than the Carolina Hurricanes. Straight up. They were just better. There was one thing that kept them in that game, and it was goalkeeper play from Ronta, who was great. The fact that he only gave up one goal, right? The fact that he only gave up one goal was nothing shy of amazing, considering how absolutely relentless the Rangers are when they had possession of the puck. And Ronta saved 27 out of 28. Pretty spectacular, to be honest. So the Carolina Hurricanes found themselves getting beat in just about every aspect of the game by the New York Rangers, but put the ice water into the veins in OT. I mean, late into the game and OT. Sebastian Aho, with like 9 minutes left to play, found pipe, right? He's got a one-on-one against the Rangers goaltender. It's a breakaway. There are no Rangers defenders anywhere near Sebastian Aho. And what does he do? Clang off the top post for a miss. And again, on a shot that abso-freaking-lutely should have tied that game up. Absolutely should have tied that game up. But instead, he gets all iron. The Hurricanes find themselves still down a goal and now deeper into the clock. So what does Aho do? Late in the game? Get discouraged? End up wasting shifts behind it? Nope. Aho regroups, resets, gets another breakaway, and this time goes ahead and buries one inside of the net. 1-1. Go to overtime. Ian Cole, baby. By the way, Aho's goal came with about 2 minutes and 13 seconds left. Actually, about 2 minutes and 23 seconds left to play. I mean, dude, what do you want? Clutch, right? Clutch gene from the Canes. So the Canes get round two. Round two. Game number 1 set up tonight against the Rangers. This one also going to be in Raleigh. Game 2 kicks off tonight at 8 o'clock. Rangers Canes. Watch it. By the way, Oilers Flames. If you did not watch that opener back on Wednesday, the Flames won 9-6. Not a football score, ladies and gentlemen. 15 goals in that one. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that tonight's matchup between Edmonton and Calgary at 10:30 is absolutely going to be on the big screen at the Casa de Love 2. Can't wait. If you're not watching the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, I don't know what to tell you, man. You're missing out. That is why I am talking about it as much as I am talking about it. Because it is great fun, man. It is a blast. That first game between New York and Carolina was gut-wrenching. I was on Twitter that night, and I had all kinds of people hit me up on Twitter when I was talking about it. I had a couple of people who who were like, "Yo, I'm not a hockey fan, man, but I'm watching because I was following your tweets, and I got into it. I got interested. Try it. Trust me. Try it. Trust me." All right. Let me run out to the final break of the show. When we come back here in just a minute, got a few more things to talk about on the way out the door. Twitter trending topics to call it. My name is Rob Brown. You're listening to The Rob Brown Show. You're listening to The Fan Upstate.
I'm Jason Marks with your sports flash on the Fan Upstate. So much drama in the SEC. Jimbo Fisher came out fiery in a press conference Thursday morning, responding to Nick Saban's comments at the World Games in Birmingham regarding recruiting by his Texas A&M Aggies and Jackson State, coached by Deion Sanders. Saban apologized in an interview Thursday for singling out their programs, but stands by his comments regarding name, image, and likeness. In the NBA playoffs, the Boston Celtics dominated Game 2 over Miami with a 127-102 win that evened the series at one game apiece. Tonight, the Dallas Mavericks will look to do the same out west against the Golden State Warriors. The NASCAR Cup Series will be in Texas Sunday for the All-Star race. Chase Elliott holds a 52-point lead in the standings over Ryan Blaney, followed by Kyle Busch, William Byron, and Ross Chastain. Download the Odyssey app and search for the Fan Upstate. Then listen anywhere on your phone. I'm Jason Marks, and that's your sports flash on the Fan Upstate.
The sports voice of you, the Upstate fan. Welcome to the Fan.
Upstate.
Now CBS Sports Radio.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job in ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Whether it's a bad kick, nagging back pain.
Yeah, man, my pleasure, man. I love a little hockey. I will be on. Actually, I'm calling play-by-play for the Liberty tonight, so I will not be watching the Hurricanes game live. But I do have it set to record on the DVR, and I'll be watching it when I get home. Please make sure they win.
More expertise, more technology, and more
I'm begging you.
closer to you. We're doing even more to
I don't want to come home to not talk about hockey.
Prisma Health, the orthopedic experts. Tired of companies like Google and Facebook touching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with a push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The Rob Brown Show. Now 9 to noon.
Corey LaJoy drives number 7 Chevrolet for Spire Motorsports. We had that accident in the Daytona 500 with Ryan Newman. Newman was already airborne when he struck your car. I've read the story that it knocked the wind out of you. Of course, Ryan Newman would go to the hospital. A lot of us were terrified he might not get out, but eventually walked out of his own power, was able to drive later on in the season. From the guy who experienced that, what was that like for you?
Yeah, it was wild, man. Luckily, Ryan was okay, and really lucky, for the way the wreck happened and where I hit him. And, with the advancements NASCAR's made with that Gen 6 car, now the next-gen car that we're going to be racing here in the 500 and on is even considerably more safe than that. That's also the assumed risk. When you put the helmet on and tighten the belt, then that stuff can happen. That's also part of the gig, man. That's kind of why people show up to watch it. A lot of times, that's why we kind of thought we'd do it, because it is a dangerous sport. Not many people have the intestinal fortitude to go 200 miles an hour and lay it on the line when they have to.
Same great show, new time.
The Rob Brown Show.
Now
a long-term contract to get access. Well, not anymore, because Straight Talk Wireless has rolled out 5G coverage nationwide with deals like our Silver Unlimited plan for just $45 a month and no contract. And get a Samsung Galaxy A32 5G for $249, all on America's best networks. 5G coverage, 5G phones, less money. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
It's beginning to feel a lot like summer, and the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to get it started this Memorial Day. Step up your grill game with propane griddles from Next Grill for the perfect smash burger. Then feast with your friends and family around a new patio set from Hampton Bay. However you plan to kick off summer, the Home Depot has savings on everything you need to do it right. Feels like Memorial Day at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish is...
It's pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said now he speaks Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Want the news without the noise? Then catch Dan Abrams and Ashley Banfield back-to-back. Weeknights starting at 9, 8 Central on the fastest-growing cable news network in America, News Nation. Go to newsnationnow.com/join us to find your television provider.
More than the scores. Real sports talk for real sports fans.
The Rob Brown Show.
The Rob Brown Show back on your radio. It is the Fan Upstate. Texter on the Preferred Home Services text line at 71307 says, Rob, I am really concerned about you calling play-by-play for the Liberty tonight. As of now, doing words is not working for you today. Yeah, I am. You know, I tell you guys all the time that I am good at this job. I love this job, which is why I'm good at this job. I've been doing this job 15 years. I feel like I've got it down. But sometimes your brain betrays you a little bit. It happens to the best of us. It really does. And let me tell you the other part of it. You can overthink things, right? We talk about this with athletes all the time. Sometimes you just overthink it, right? Sometimes you just got to go out there and do what you do, young man. Just do what you do. Don't think about it. Just do it. Muscle memory, right? It's like shooting a free throw. I have told every basketball player I have ever coached, do not overthink your free throws. When you get on the line, when you are on the stripe, when it is time to knock down a free throw, your brain should be zen. There should be nothing to it. You should not be thinking. You should not be reacting. If you miss free throw number one, it should not have a lick of impact on free throw number two. It is muscle memory. Shoot your shot. Don't think about it. Shoot your shot. Right? But as nice as that might be as a concept, it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes you've got other things that pop into the old noggin that impact your performance. And that's what happened today. All right? That's what happened today. Lonzo had to run to the other side of the building. He leaves me to run the board, which is 100% fine. You know, I believe in being a five-tool player. I believe that the best thing you can do for yourself is not just learn how to do your job, but learn how to do all the jobs around you so that when you find yourself in a spot, you can swoop in and save the day, right? If I didn't know how to run a board and produce my own show, and Lonzo had to go do something for ORD, we'd have been in a world of trouble. So I learned how to run a board. Taught myself how to run a board. Got here. First thing I said when I got here was, teach me how to run the board. Teach me how to produce my own show in case I end up in that spot. Here we are. No problems with it at all. And on top of that, it frees up Lonzo to be able to go over there and make sure ORD, our big-time sister station, can run itself. It's all well and good. But, you know, hosting is shooting a free throw, man. It's muscle memory. The night before, I sit on the couch for an hour and a half, 2 hours. I put the show together. I come in between 7 and 7:30 the next day. I got an hour and a half to 2 hours to take all the thoughts I had the night before, shape them up, organize them, get them down on the rundown, and get ready to go. I don't have to think about it. I know the process. I know the routine. I'm shooting the free throws. I've done it a billion times and will a billion more. There's no thought that goes into it. You just show up and do, right? Well, when I have to do both, it's not, as much as I'd like to say, oh, it's all second nature. The reality is, it's not. There's other stuff to worry about, other stuff to think about. So I got caught up in making sure the board was going good and that I was giving you the segments I wanted to give. Thanks to, again, Jimbo Fisher and Nick Saban for ruining yesterday. The other aspect is I had to take 2 days worth of NBA takes and 2 days worth of NHL takes. See, that's what I'm telling you. I had to take 2 days worth of takes from the NBA and the NHL, and I had to smush them both down into one take. So I had to have Wednesday and Thursday night's NBA thoughts, and then Wednesday and Thursday night's NHL thoughts, and had to squeeze them all down into a segment of pop. So I got a little caught up in that while also making sure that all my button switches, levers, knobs, gears, pulleys, wheels, and other simple machinery on this side of the glass was all up to snuff. And I hope I did a good enough job. So I do apologize to those of you that have been hanging out with me that the show was not as smooth as it normally is. Part of that is because Lonzo's not here. And Lonzo is the wizard of ways. He is the professor of perfection. He is the reason this show traditionally sounds as good as it does. The other part of it is, as mentioned a minute ago, I'm doing like 3 jobs at once. I am screening, I am producing, I am also hosting. So I got a little muddled. So this part, I will shed the bad guy wrestler, I'm good at this job facade that I put up, and I will break kayfabe for you for just a minute. For those of you that have stuck with me, for those of you that kept listening, for those of you that show up every day, whether I'm having a great day and am en fuego, or having a day like today where my brain and mouth hole don't coordinate with each other. For those of you that are with me regularly, I sincerely appreciate you. You are the reason I get to keep doing this. Thank you. For those of you that have stuck with me through the last 2 days doing this by myself on this side, I appreciate you. For those of you that interact with me on social media constantly, I appreciate you. You are all appreciated because without you, there's no Rob Brown. There's no Rob Brown show. And even when the Rob Brown show sucks, which is rare, very, very rare, but even when it sucks, when you stick with me, it makes it worth it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
And now, the Rob Brown Show presents Twitter Trending Topics.
And now, let's do this. Twitter Trending Topics. We take a look at what's trending on Twitter. And obviously, I have not had a chance to look at Twitter today because it's been a little bit busy. Let's see what's trending on Twitter as of right now. Trending on Twitter, hashtag National Rescue Dog Day. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna beg you. Please don't buy your dogs. Please adopt them. All right, shelters are full. They always are full. Please adopt. And I will also tell you this. Every dog that I have ever had has been an adoptee. The puppy I have right now, little Remy dog, Remy LeBeau, she is an adoptee. My last dog that I had before I moved up here, that I lost in Jacksonville, Aiko, was an adoptee. My dog before that, Dakota, an adoptee. She lives down with my mom. Great dog. Fred dog before her, adopt, don't shop. I'm begging you. I'm begging you. There are thousands of animals that get put down every single year because they just cannot find a home for them. Do that. Nobody gives a damn about your status symbol, purebred, triple Maltese, Shih Tzu, boxer, whatever. Nobody cares. You can walk around with that dog and its papers all day. Nobody cares. All right? Adopt, don't shop. That's all I got to say. That is one of like 3 things I preach about, man. Don't drink and drive and adopt your dogs. That's it. All right, what else is trending? Let's see. Hashtag Friday Vibes is trending. Yes, indeed. TGIF, my friends. And again, if you are not doing anything tonight and you want to come hang out and watch a little football with me, this evening, your Greenville Liberty will be playing at home for the very first time, and I'm quite excited about that. If you are interested in watching the Greenville Liberty, I have good news for you. A, I will be on the call this evening. My voice will be the voice you hear doing play-by-play when the Greenville Liberty take on, oh goodness, I just forgot. I just blanked. We got North Carolina. That's going to be tonight. Dig it. I'm going to be on the call this evening. You can get it. You can watch it at 11sports.com. 11sports.com. You go there, search Greenville Liberty. It'll bring it up for you. Really, really excited about that. 11sports.com. Going to be taking on the NC Courage tonight. I will be on play-by-play. And that's the word 11, by the way. 11sports.com. Go there, watch the Liberty, or do one better and just come out to Legacy Early College tonight. Come out to Legacy Early College tonight. Come watch some women's football. Let's support women's professional sports in our area together, because the sports community is better when everybody gets a shot at playing. So coming out. But if you can't, watch it on 11sports.com. I'll be on the call, and I promise you I will be really good. Really good. All right, PGA Championship is trending right now. Round number 2 is on as we speak. On Monday, we'll have a full breakdown. John Cena is trending? Why is John Cena trending? John Cena trending. Because John Cena apparently showed up at the Chelsea game. That is correct, my friends. Chelsea, their soon-to-be new owner, Todd Bowley, was spotted at Stamford Bridge, and he was joined by, that's right, John Cena. Ladies and gentlemen, you can see him on TV at the Chelsea game. How about that? John Cena action. You love to see it. All right, that's it for me. You guys have a great weekend. Do not drink and drive. I'll punch you in the face. Come watch some Liberty football tonight. We'll have a breakdown on Monday of that and the PGA Championship. We will be, I'm pretty sure, one game away from the end of both the Eastern and Western Conference Finals in the NBA. We'll break all that down. Have a great weekend. See you then. I'm Rob Brown. This is The Rob Brown Show. This is the Fan Upstate. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it sincerely. Sorry that I was distracted today. Turns out the more work you have to do, the more you have to think about it. But I do appreciate you guys, and I will see you all back here on Monday. Have a great weekend.